I smell chocolate. That's right, 60 grams of protein, healthy, nutritious, filling, delicious, velvety smooth, chocolatey goodness. It's go time, baby. For this recipe, you are going to need some casein protein powder and also some whey protein powder. I like to use chocolate and vanilla flavors. Of course, you could always buy a blend of the two. I just find that it's way more expensive than buying them separate. Besides, these things tend to last a really long time anyways. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Start by adding 10 grams of vanilla whey to a bowl, followed by 5 grams of your chocolate casein, 15 grams of self-raising flour, 10 grams of coconut flour. This will allow you to cut back on the flour and greatly reduce the calories. 10 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. Make sure it's unsweetened or else it'll be filled with sugar. 3 grams of baking powder to make sure the cake rises properly. 30 grams of sweetener. I like to use erythritol, but if you prefer stevia, that's fine. You could use whatever one you want. As I mentioned, I prefer erythritol. If you want to buy it, you can find the link in the description. You're now going to want to mix all of your dry ingredients. Make sure to get out any clumps. You want a nice, smooth batter. If you leave clumps in it, it's going to affect the texture of your cake. So do give it a whisk until everything is properly combined. You are now going to want to add your wet ingredients, 75 grams fat-free Greek yogurt. As you can see, I added 76 grams. It's not a big deal. Don't try to overcomplicate it and be super exact. To this, we will now add 30 grams of sugar-free applesauce. I make mine at home, so it has a bit of a darker color, but if you could find it in the stores, just do whatever is easier for you. And then finally, we will be adding 1 large egg to this. Crack your egg, add it in. Boom, bam, you're done. Grab yourself a spoon and start mixing everything. Make sure to get everything properly mixed. You want a nice, smooth batter. You'll know it's ready when you no longer see the whites of the Greek yogurt and it looks like a nice, consistent batter, just like you can see on screen here. Look at how thick that batter is. This is going to create an amazing cake. You now want to get yourself a 4.5-inch baking mold. I really like using these silicone molds. They're easy to clean. The food comes off right away without sticking to it, without leaving a mess. And to this, you will want to add a couple of sprays of low-calorie cooking spray. This is just going to make sure that your cake really doesn't stick and it comes off easily once it's done cooking. You will now want to pour the batter into the cooking mold, and then with the back of a spoon, make sure to press it down, evenly distribute it so that your cake is uniform and you don't have some places that are a lot higher than the others, or you don't have a weird shaped cake, because nobody really likes a weird shaped cake, right? Once you're done, you will want to place it in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit, 170 Celsius. You'll know it's ready when you stick a toothpick in it and it comes out clean. While that bad boy's cooking, we're going to prepare the frostings. Start with 10 grams of your chocolate casein, 5 grams of your whey vanilla powder. I like to add more whey, less casein to the cake mix because I feel that it rises better, and then more casein and less whey in the frosting because since casein absorbs less water, you get that thicker, creamier frosting. You will now want to add 30 grams of powdered sweetener. Once again, I like to use erythritol, but you can use whatever you like. I like to buy it already in the powdered form. You can just take your granulated version, add it to a blender, blend it up, and you basically get the exact same thing. However, if you do want to buy this, I have the link in the description down below. To this, we will be adding 10 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. This is going to give it that intense chocolate flavor. 125 grams of fat-free Greek yogurt. And then finally, you will be adding 1 tablespoon of water, which is about 13 grams. Make sure to mix everything. Start off slowly or else your powder is just going to go everywhere. And keep mixing it until everything is nice and incorporated and you no longer see the whites of the Greek yogurt. And instead, you get this very creamy, very thick chocolate frosting. It tastes so good. One tip, if you do not like things overly sweet, I would recommend only using 15 grams of the powdered sugar substitute. Once your cake's done cooking, you will want to perform the toothpick test. Make sure it comes out nice and clean. If you don't have a toothpick, you could just use a fork or a knife. It doesn't really matter. It just has to come out nice and clean. You want to let your cake cool off completely by either using a cooling rack or whatever you have at your disposal. Just make sure to let it cool completely, or else if you try to frost it, it's going to melt right off. The next step is going to be to cut it in half so you can create that layered cake with the frosting in the middle. This step is completely optional. If you just want to frost it around the edges, that's fine too. I like cutting it in half though, because it gives me that frosting in the middle and just makes it extra chocolatey, extra gooey, extra good. You're going to want to grab your bottom half of the cake, use about half of the frosting, be as generous as possible. You really want to create that layered effect. You want as much frosting as possible in the middle while still leaving some to be able to frost the outside of the cake, because that's just going to create that separation. It's going to give you all that flavor in the middle of the cake and just make it extra chocolatey. Once you're done frosting the bottom half, grab the top part, place it on top of the bottom half, and you can now start frosting around the edges and the top of the cake. Look at that beautiful chocolatey goodness. So luscious, so smooth, so decadent. This is the perfect dessert. You will not believe this thing has 60 grams of protein. It tastes just as good as a regular chocolate cake. So much flavor, so sweet. It is literally the perfect dessert, regardless if you're on a diet or not, if you're trying to hit your protein goals or not. This thing is amazing. And now, as always, for all you flexible dieters, the chocolate cake's macros. This chocolate cake has 60 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs, 17 grams of fat, 549 calories for the whole cake. Of course, you can divide it in two, divide it into 4 slices, but let's be honest, who are we kidding? You're probably going to eat the whole thing, aren't you? I know I definitely want to all the time. And there you have it. This healthy, beautiful, delicious chocolate cake tastes so good, will not ruin your diet. You could literally eat this every single day if you wanted to. So chocolatey, so amazing. You will not believe it's a healthy recipe. Honestly, this thing is a game changer and a diet hack. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos. You can see them here on the screen. And as always, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out.